Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is dancing on eggshells. A lot of us feel like we have to walk on eggshells in discussing so many different polarizing topics and conversations. And I say, let's dance, let's celebrate our ability to be navigating these challenging spaces to deepen our connection with one another rather than creating deeper rifts. Hopefully we can dance on these eggshells. So it should be fun conversation, but before we get started, let's take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant, bright light lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, all your molecules, all your electrons, and creating this brilliant beam of light from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's just gently press our palms together. Very, very softly, let's rub our fingers against our palms and feel the deliciousness of that sensation, the tickling, the tingling. Allow ourselves to become present to the physicalness of our being and these marvelous physical forms that enable us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, let's dance on eggshells, right? I don't mean like smashing them to smithereens, but I mean, let's be light and graceful of foot and really celebrate that we can have uncomfortable conversations and build bridges and potentially deepen connection and understanding. So I think we can make choices to allow our differences to. Good morning, Lisa. Oh, I want to hear, how was Vegas? Happy New Year. Welcome back. We're talking about dancing on eggshells instead of tiptoeing around on eggshells, celebrating the fact that we can make connections and we can communicate beyond our differences, and that every little part of that enables us to deepen our authenticity, to be moving toward building bridges rather than deepening rifts. And I think in my lifetime, I don't know that, well, maybe during the Vietnam War, but I don't know if there, and also there were all kinds of riots growing up, race riots growing up. So I was going to say, I don't know if there's ever been a better opportunity to build bridges, but I have to amend that. Lisa says, Lisa went to Vegas over the holidays. So Lisa says, I just got home yesterday. They were holding us hostage. Our flights kept getting canceled. Oh my gosh, Lisa, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you got to play and win in the meantime. Good morning, Rosalind. So good to have you here with us this morning. And welcome to everybody else who's joining us. We're talking about dancing on eggshells. And really what I'm talking about in that regard is celebrating our possibility to be closing gaps and enriching communication. I had a wonderful conversation with someone who I adore, that I haven't spoken to for quite some time, and we got into conversation about the plague And we come from very different places in terms of our personal choices and our beliefs and understanding about what's going on. And both of us were able to acknowledge each other and ourselves for our ability to navigate that space, and to do so rationally, reasonably, and from a place of connectedness and appreciation and respect. And so that to me is worthy of celebration. And that's what I mean by dancing on eggshells. We can be light of foot and respectful and authentic all at the same time, non-reactive and present. And we can make this time of factionalization and polarization something that is enriching to all of us. In fact, I had one conversation day before yesterday and one yesterday too, and it was awesome. It was awesome because there's a willingness to be committed to the relationship. And so when we allow ourselves to be committed to relationship with the other person, then it is an opportunity perhaps to open our minds, open our perspectives, a willingness to hear and be heard in a way that without that relationship, there would be no chance at all. There would be no interest. So I think that, yesterday we were talking about from separation to unity. I think that's really what we're talking about today as well, in a lot of ways, is that this dancing on eggshells is coming from a place of connection and unity, and therefore we can dance together, so rather than walking on eggshells, let's dance together. So Lisa says, regarding the trip to Vegas, we were supposed to be home last Friday, but we made some special memories. More importantly, we survived Vegas and each other. Talk about a test of relationship. Congratulations, Lisa. Good to hear that. Good to hear that you survived it. I'm sitting here playing with these things that I made yesterday. I know we've talked a lot about creativity and expression, and I've been playing, or I had been playing with encaustic. And one of the people that I had this lovely dance with yesterday is an artist, and we had decided to make an artist play date over Zoom, which was really, really cool because, because of different sensibilities about getting together in the physical, we decided to do it on Zoom, and it was awesome. And it's the first time in months that I have played with encaustic. And I know this isn't part of the topic, but it was part of my dancing, and being delicate, dancing on eggshells, like I said, being light of foot, being delicate, being committed to the relationship more than being right. So anyway, I'm going to share these things. Oh, you know what? You can't tell what they look like because of the background, because there's green. I have a green screen, but so some of the colors are disappearing in this. But these are toilet paper rolls that I collected through COVID, and I'm going to make some kind of assemblage with them. It looks like a hot mess as I'm broadcasting it on screen, but they're really rich and colorful and fun, and it looks like a hot mess, like I said, but I'm gonna, put them together into something sculptural. And it's just been fun to be playing with them. And encaustic, if you're not familiar with it, is a pigmented wax that you paint with. And what's awesome is that you can create all kinds of textures. You can't really see it over Zoom, but there's a three-dimensionality to this. You know, it's very, very sensual, with its layers and layers of color, and the way things are blended together. It's just really cool. So I'm a little I'm tactily preoccupied a little bit with that, but it was really cool to be able to have this experience. So Rosalind asked, is it acrylic? It looks like acrylic, right? But it isn't. It's literally pigmented wax. And I have a torch, and you melt that wax on a hot plate and use brushes or palette knives or any other kind of thing to apply the color and the texture, and it builds it up, and you can put a finish on it to give it a sheen, but it's just so cool. I love wax and I love temperature. You know, I was a glass blower for a while, and so you know, melting stuff and working with torches, that's really fun for me. So I just had a ball doing this, and I love that it looks like a hot mess of color, frankly. It's just really fun. I was thinking maybe I'll stuff them with fiber, or you know, something coming out of them and connecting them, and anyway, it's fun to play and to be able to have a conversation that could otherwise potentially be a very charged conversation. I mean, this person that I was having this play date with is very open-minded and very much about building bridges and creating dialogue where a lot of people tend to shut down. And it was so fun playing with her. She was using acrylics and painting some old pair of Uggs that she had. She painted them with all kinds of colors and patterns, and it was really awesome. It was a great concept, you know, great idea to do that, first of all. And as we were both playing, we were having this very wonderful conversation, and it was for me, you know, dancing, you know, a little, being careful, being respectful, being somewhat cautious, you know, to be checking for limits. And sometimes I don't calibrate to that as well as I could, or I guess I calibrate to it as well as I could, but maybe not as well as I would hope. So Lisa says, cool, I love palette paintings, and that's amazing. I love to watch glass blowing. When I was a glass blower, it was, I haven't done much with lamp work, you know, with the torches and a desk kind of setup. The kind of glass blowing that I did was with the big pipes and the big furnaces, and yeah, it was really cool. Hot. It was really hot. It really was hot. Anyway, so let's talk about this dancing on eggshells, because I don't know about you, but I love to dance, and I'm not really great at choreographed type dance, you know, or the repetitive step kind of dance. I need to work really hard to get that stuff into my muscle memory. But when it comes to freestyle dancing, I love, 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 love it. And so we can think about that as improvisation. And I think these conversations are improvisational, right? it's call and response, right? We move with the movement of our partner in that conversation. Bonjour, Dennis. Welcome, welcome. So good. And all the others, says Dennis in French. Welcome. It's great to have you here. And good morning, Isabel. Great to have you here as well. And good morning to Elaine. Good morning to all of you guys. It's you all just came in all at once. That's very cool. So Dennis, how many languages do you speak? I just have to know, because you put in these wonderful comments in different languages. It's so fun. So we're talking about dancing on eggshells and really partnering in our conversations over difference, and to be able to find the high level of reconciliation. We were talking about reconciliation the other day, a high level of reconciliation and harmony and understanding. You know, we might not have agreement, but we can have understanding. We might not have agreement, but we can acknowledge that in a harmonious way, I believe. So I'm wondering what kinds of dances you've had with folks in difficult conversations, you know, where you might otherwise have felt like you were walking on eggshells, but it turned into a dance instead. And so Rosalind says, anyone can dance, says Wine. I like to dance and can feel into it without being altered. Ah, okay. So so lots of people will only dance when they have had a little bit of social lubrication, like Wine, for example. But Rosalind says, I like to dance and can feel into it without being altered. Actually feeling into dance is altering, at least to me. You know, like I can get into a zone with music and dance that I step outside of myself and step into presence with the music. And I think that's what we're talking about in this dancing on eggshells idea. Dennis says three languages. Wow, that's awesome, though not mastered. Elaine says, I dance in harmony with what appears to be disharmony. I live in a world of illusions. You and me both, Elaine. So I love that you're saying that I dance in harmony with what appears to be in disharmony. So that we can dance with all of it, right? And that's kind of what we're talking about, particularly in this conversation about connecting with people whose ideas are different from our own, to be able to build bridges of understanding and to be able to have this beautiful dance with each other, even if it is a dance of disharmony. Sometimes you know, we get to dance with that as well. And sometimes in experiencing a willingness to dance with the disharmony of things, it becomes harmony. You know, we find another, like a higher plane of connection and harmony. So what else? Lisa says, I danced a lot on vacation. It felt so good letting go and being comfortable with it. That's awesome, Lisa. So I can't believe I haven't done it more, having done it recently and enjoyed it so much. But I have an old iPhone that I didn't get rid of, and I was able to hook it up so that it's my music machine. And I hooked it up to my speakers and I turned on some music, and I could not dance. And so I was dancing around my office, which it has very little floor space right now, I have to tell you, because I have a pile of boxes to be packing stuff up or whatever. And So I was dancing around like a fool, just loving, loving, loving it, having such a great time. And it was altering. So I actually have a client who says her criteria for clients is whether they make her want to dance. And I think that's a beautiful, wonderful criteria for the people that we want to engage with in our lives, whether it be on a personal level or in business. So let's see. Elaine says, yes, I dance with all life, no judgments needed. I have fun on the journey. And Lisa says, I'm dancing with myself. That is allowing me to find my harmony. Awesome, Lisa. Amazing. I had to let the noise quiet down from outside, but once it's done, dance. Dance a lot. I agree with you, Lisa. That's beautiful, beautiful. Let the noise from outside quiet down and be an expression of that inner dancer. Dennis says, I dance alone, like no one is watching. Imagine. I love it. I dance alone too, like no one is watching. I remember years ago, my friend and I were at this bar restaurant and there was a live band and nobody was dancing and I was. I was. And then another person or two came up and danced, but it was me pretty much. And Lisa said, you keep freezing. I'm not getting any signals on my end. So I don't know if it's me. I hope not. I hope the transmission here is going smoothly. I don't have anything I can do about it if it's on my end, unfortunately. Ooh, sorry. It's my morning yawn, right? Sorry about that. So Lisa, Isabel says, me too. I don't need anything to dance and loving feeling it. Yes, it's liberating. It's really, really liberating. Elaine says, I dance and sing all the time. And yes, I am good. Me too, actually. And I sing not so much, but I'm not a wonderful singer, but I'll sing for myself and for my cat. Lisa says, replying to Dennis, me too, but I don't care if everyone is watching, as far as dancing without, as if no one's watching, or dancing alone. And Tammy, welcome, welcome. It's great to have you here with us, Tammy. Tammy says, I don't dance as I'm one of those two left beat people. But in 2022, I'll be letting go more and enjoying life. I'm so glad to hear that, Tammy. And I would invite you, like you don't have to dance crazy, but I would invite you to just turn on some music and feel the rhythm of it, and allow that rhythm of it to move you into bigger movement and bigger, bigger dancing. And eventually your feet will do their own thing that isn't tripping over each other. I can find that I have two left feet when I'm trying to do any of these prescribed dances. Like really, I can trip over myself, but let me just dance. Oh my gosh, it's just awesome. I love it. And it's a way for me to be the music, and to step outside of me and into being the music. And that's a really cool experience. So I think that ties in with our conversation about dancing on eggshells, is to, when you're really present in a conversation, when you're committed to the relationship, when it opens the door for understanding and this wonderful give and take and beautiful dance. So Rosalind says, I'm dancing with the stars with you all every weekday morning. I love it, Rosalind. You're awesome. Thank you for that. And I think that, I know there's a thing called ecstatic dance, and I don't actually know what it is other than what I can imagine it is. But when we allow ourselves to truly connect to the music, there is an ecstasy in that, and there is an experience of something outside of ourselves. We get outside of ourselves. And that's what I'm talking about with these conversations, to be able to get outside of ourselves enough to really connect, to be present in ourselves and also outside of ourselves, meaning not attached to being right, not attached to having to justify knowing what we know. It's easy to get plugged in with all that kind of stuff when we're talking about controversial topics, and people get angry when challenged, and or when you're not challenging them, you're challenging an idea or a belief. People often take that quite personally, so it becomes a dance. It becomes a dance for sure. Lisa says, I'm one of those people who would love life if it was like a Broadway show and people broke out in song and dance. Could you imagine how wonderful that would be? I could imagine how bizarre it would be, and there are lots of TV shows out that do things like that. It's pretty funny. And it would be a pretty funny thing to do in real life. If I had a good singing voice, I would consider trying that here and there. It would be really interesting to see how people would respond. Um, Elaine says, have a beautiful now all. Blessings, loves. Thank you, Elaine. Elaine is anticipating the end of the hour, else she's having to jump off. The end of the half hour. Anyway, I so appreciate you, and I invite you to dance. Let's dance. And there's something about the lightness of spirit that we can bring to our dancing with one another, to create greater connection, to create greater understanding, to build bridges, and to honor one another, and to honor our own creativity and expression, while at the same time we honor others out of respect and connection. So I think that's it for this morning. I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection. I go live here on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. And please check out the other awesome programming on Enlightened World Network's Facebook page, as well as EWN One with the Earth and Enlightened World Living. And I'm going to ask again if anybody has the link. I see you here, Dido. So I'm wondering if you have the link for the fundraiser for Dr. Ruth Anderson and her family available. Their house burned down in the Colorado fires last week, and they are rebuilding and trying to put life back together. They lost everything but what they had in their suitcases. And I'm just spending a little time here hoping somebody's going to come up with the link. I can see if I can find it. I know somebody's going to come up with it before I do. But let's see if I can. Probably not. Nope, I'm not. Here we go. Not coming up with something right now, guys. So probably somebody else has already put it in the chat. Let me see. Not yet. So I'm so glad you got to see me too and join all of us, Lisa. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dido. I can always count on you. Or Sue, maybe it is. I don't know, because Dido, you came through as you, and Enlightened World Network came through separate. But please, please, if you have any pennies to spare, even, or dollars or more, please go and support Dr. Ruth Anderson and her family. Thank you, Dido. And also, please share out that link to people. We wouldn't have this amazing community if it weren't for Dr. Ruth. And she has been the beacon. She has been the energy behind it. She has been the mastermind of it. And we all have a deep gratitude, or I was going to say a deep debt of gratitude to her for providing this wonderful community and vehicle for us to connect with one another, and to have the amazing exposure and experience that she's provided. So please share that out. And with that, I am going to call it a wrap for this morning. So much love to you. Until next time.